Pear Kate, a humble, honest sibyl, wha ne'er a body had e'er seen skill, wha reared her bairns wi' great devotion, for her ain well-being she'd ne'er a notion. Fine Kate, wha wadna harm a flea, wha cared for a' things big or wee, wa'd help her neighbours when they came to beg the last coin to her name. Kind Kate, wha kept her hame sae smart, wha had the good o' at heart, wha went to kirk and prayed for others, weans and man and friends and brothers. But Kate, she nursed a simmering fear, for her man Tam, who she loved dear. He liked to drink wi' friends the nappy, until they all got unco happy. Tam for weeks on end would sup, wi' cronies keen to tak a cup, while Kate would sit at hame and wonder when he'd finally take the scunner. The money made fae market sales would disappear in wines and ales, while his wains made day wi' crusts a while, Tam wined and dined in jaunty style. Kate began to form a plan, to frighten her misguided man. She'd tell him that she'd had a dream that saw him face down in the stream, wi' water lapping ower his back, while up abin the bows did crack, as lichtning struck wi' a' its micht, and lit the sky wi' powerful licht. As witches, warlocks, all did gnarled, poked and prodded, screamed and snarled, and cursed his name as he lay still ablow the water near the mill. But Kate could no hae been prepared for what came next and made her scared. When through her thoughts made up ye mind, she unleashed power o' an evil kind. As she sat staring at the fire's flame, and thought that this would bring Tam hame, the deil himsel was taking heed o' puir sad Kate's fictitious deed. For unbeknown to Kate hersel, Auld Nick would pick up thoughts and tell his trusted servants, dark and grim, to set in place a trap for him. To lure old Tam fae off his path, to Alloway Kirk to feel his wrath, as he fae air would shin set out on Meg, his mount so fleet o' foot. Noo, Tam had ta'en a fill himsel, so paid his dues and begged farewell to Suitor Johnny, his trusted friend, mair loyal man there'd never been. Tam turned about and stepped outside, to where his good steed Meg did bide. Then after feeding her wi' straw, he mounted her and was awa'. Feeling happy fae the drink, Tam sang and whistled and did think about his Kate and his warm bed, wi' nae idea what lay ahead. Tam spurred on Meg to gallop west, and south towards his hame and rest, through gorse and thistle at a thundering gate, oblivious to his dreadful fate. Noo Kate, retired for the night, was restless, fearful o' Tam's plight. Drifting in a fretful sleep, she dreamt a dream that made her weep. She saw her Tam, his eyes agog, emerging fae a rotten bog, dripping wet and caked wi' glore, while letting forth an anguish lore. His coat wi' torn and tattered threads hung off his back in matted shreds. His calicoes, once unco smart, were ripped to bits and torn apart. His face was etched wi' pain and fear, distorted, twisted ear to ear. He shook as if in frantic fit. His blood dreeped fae a gaping slit. Kate saw in her mind's eye unfold a sight which made her blood run cold. Towering high over Tam's wrecked frame stood Lucifer with eyes aflame. And all about his evil form stood witches, warlocks, like a swarm, each chanting in an eerie hibble, "Rip him up fae cheek to jibble." Screaming banshees could ne'er surpass the murderous screams o' this wicked mass. They bide for blood and grisly gore, then fae Nick himsel there came a roar. Sae loud and shrill his ain kind ceased, and turned towards the mighty beast. He held aloft a torch of fire, and by his side there stood a pyre, prepared for Tam, his helpless prey, who for his deeds was shin to pay a drastic, hideous final fee, burned alive and left to die. Now all this time Kate turned and tossed, and fretted o'er the man she'd lost. Her Tam, whose face now filled her thoughts, was good and kind for all his faults. An honest man, a man o' pride, a man she wanted by her side. A kind and gentle father too. Oh dearest Tam, what did they do? Just then Kate came round to hear a sound familiar to her ear, the sound o' hoofs and cobbled stane. Then a latch been raised and dropped again. Tam was back for his hard day's toil, o' ploughing fields and tiling soil, and Kate now stirred and came to see that all was weel as things should be.